This is the Needle Dam, and it's called Needles because you can see right over there those individual timbers. They look to be about maybe 2 by or 3 by 6s. The handle being more narrow, of course, than the lower part. But this is a design installed in 1859 that has been used ever since and is today the device that controls the volume of water or the level of water in Lake Lucerne, and it dumps out through here. It's interesting that this needle dam in red here controls the water level throughout that entire large lake system. Here we can get a better look at these needles, if you will. And if they allowed kayaking on this part of the river, and I'm not sure that they do, this was where you would see them playing in these waves right along this wall. Imagine those residences there, by opening up their windows, get what I would consider the pleasure of this rushing water sound. My guess is that this is a modern backup in case the needle dam doesn't fully operate. Interesting, this span made out of wood, probably spanning that water that comes in off the left. See some tracks there. Those may be the tracks that crane-like device in the picture travels on. This is definitely a relief system for the lakes. This is an even more powerful part of the system. Don't really know what it controls, but perhaps the gates that are underneath this bridge that we're walking on. They're a pretty old building, or it seems to be old. Quick glance at another old-looking building, older looking. Most interesting thing are the chimneys and that window in the roof. And then behind me we'll strike out across the river again. Just a little ways away from the river, I noticed this older looking building here. I don't know if it really is. These do look like older components, though, the first floor at least, and that which looks like classic log construction. It's interesting, a large gate entry, 1724. How tight these streets have always been. Of course, they only needed to accommodate small carriages, I suppose. Wandering the back streets near that church, I came across this old balcony protrusion. Old because of the paint, but old because you can see the structure in here of its wood. This is called Speurer, S-P-R-E-U-E-R, I think, something like that bridge. And it was built in 1408. It has 57 pictures, as well as pictures of the Dance of the Macabre. At least they've entitled it that. And it's called Speurer because spur was the kind of grain that in this area they milled, and the chaff, C-H-A-F-F, from that grain, this was the only place that it could be dumped into the river. Notice the river's flowing from my right to left. That meant it was washing away from the main town of Lucerne at the time. Now also look above the bridge and you'll see a significant tower, but also you'll notice that city wall that we saw on the bronze replica of Lucerne, and there are more defensive towers. So we get to hike up there, I hope. Now, before we cross the bridge in the nearby cafe, I'm going to have this little chocolate pastry. And this is the Speurerbrucke.
Hey Ben, you guys are waiting here? Okay. There's a...
I think this may be the classic scene of comparing the horrors of hell off to the right and the glory of going to heaven off to the left. See that fiery portal on the right and someone with something, a weapon looking to strike those people. And then on the left, I wonder, there's a white person, and then behind them, their arm reaching up, maybe ascending up into heaven. These old timbers. Now, I don't know if this burned down or not. There's a skeleton representing the warning of death for these participants of something. These may be the devil's helpers, or their instruments of torture. I'm guessing this has something to do with an original political document of some great importance. Interesting old carving. A little look at the structural detail.